G'day folks, Duckville here. We're going to have another look at a match from our favourite friend Liquid Hero. He's going to be here again on Shakura's Plateau. He's going to be playing against the Zerg, so it is going to be a bit of fun because of course that is his premium matchup. Of course, a lot of Protoss trying to emulate that. In fact, I myself am trying to emulate the way that Hero plays against Zerg, you know, using prisms and that sort of thing. A lot of fun to see him play that. Of course, he's actually streaming right now as I'm casting this, so it's actually a little bit unfortunate for me. I won't get to watch the stream, but either way, hopefully you guys all try and catch the stream when you can. If you're a Protoss, of course, it's a good way to learn some awesome strats, and if you're not a Protoss, it's a cool way to see how you can die to a really good Protoss. But anyway, his opponent over here is going to be our blue Zerg, grabbing the extractor there just for the extractor trick, just to get out an extra drone. As we can see, that guy here just building right now, being very lucky to be alive. But this is going to be FlowerShoes. I think I have done a cast of him before. Very groovy name, of course, FlowerShoes. I'm not sure if he's a hippie or perhaps he's just being very economical with his shoe purchases, but either way, we'll see what happens with FlowerShoes today. He's a pretty good player. He's up there in the Korean rankings, of course, to be playing against Hero on the Korean server, and we'll see what he's going to get up to today. Now, obviously, in the previous match that I actually put up, which some of you may have seen, if you haven't actually seen it, jump onto the channel, onto youtube.com/DuckvilleHall. Jump in there and actually have a look at the other Liquid Hero game that I actually put up. Very cool way that he went through that particular match. But as we can see here, it looks as if we'll actually have that quick nexus yet again from Hero. Of course, it is a great way to start up, especially on this map as a Protoss. Generally, you know, probably like maybe 8 to 9 times out of 10, you will see a Protoss actually go for this Forge Fast expansion here. And what they will like to do is actually try and block off the natural expansion here. In fact, Hero's actually going the distance with this, actually putting a cannon down. The workers here having a little fight between themselves over who is actually going to let this cannon survive. Looks as if the probe is going to escape. I would expect this to get cancelled. There it is. Beautiful work there by Hero. Now, what has this done, you say? Well, he has lost a little bit of minerals, but looking at all of these drones that got pulled off by FlowerShoes, he's actually lost a lot of mining time there at the main base, and of course that means that he will fall slightly behind on where he should have been. And of course there is that one advantage, as we can see here, that pylon that's in the way of the natural expansion has blocked off the drones from getting in there and actually getting that natural expansion started. Now, as we can see, FlowerShoes, just as you can see up here on the mineral tab, is only just now getting to his 300 minerals he needs to put down that hatchery. But of course, he's had to spend. Normally, you wouldn't get that queen as fast. Not to mention there are quite a lot of drones here at the moment. But what this has done, it's given Hero a nice amount of time to get his own Nexus up, as we can see here. And as we mentioned, just disrupting the economy of FlowerShoes just a tiny bit there. And as you can see, a beautiful wall off just to make sure that those early lings didn't actually get inside the base. Now, just for the moment here, Hero is slightly supply blocked. He's just getting that secondary pylon up now, getting both of his gas, so it does look as if we are going to have something, I would say. Actually, no, it's kind of standard, although it's a little bit early given that he hasn't actually gotten the cybernetics core just yet. But we'll see what happens here. Obviously, the strategy that a Protoss does on this map is very dependent on when this third and the fourth gas come along. So we'll see what Hero gets up to here. He has put down that cybernetics core. Once again, not doing a full wall off. In the previous game I casted, he didn't actually do a full wall off. This means that you can actually get a scouting probe or two out to see what is happening on the map. Speaking of which, here we actually have a FlowerShoes just actually scouting out a proxy pylon that was attempting to go up here by Hero. So obviously Hero's going to cancel this because it's not actually going to stay out for too long. If it does, and there it goes, alright, good job. And he is going to once again scout out inside the Zerg base, and probably not going to get too far. This queen will have something to say about that, or maybe not. 1 health left on that probe. He is going to survive for the moment here. The queen will come across and perhaps snap that probe. Not really doing too well. Looks as if the probe is going to be cornered and will be going down to the Ling and the queen. There it goes. So we're now back into the base of Hero. He's actually got the Twilight Council coming along here. I am thinking perhaps we may see either Blink or DTs. It's a very sort of interesting choice to see which way he will go. And as we can see, FlowerShoes just still scouting around to make sure that there are no extra pylons hidden around the map. But just for the moment, just waiting to see what FlowerShoes is going to do. He still hasn't actually gotten any of his own tech. The lair has not started just yet. He is now getting the Zergling speed. The gas was slightly later than normally, or perhaps it was a little bit earlier than it should have been, but it's sort of really dependent on what he's going to do here in this next few seconds. As we can see here, he's actually droning up quite hard. We're up to 41 drones, and I believe we just had a tech building. No, it's actually the hatchery up here. So we are going to have a third hatchery going up reasonably quickly here from FlowerShoes. Meanwhile, just in the middle of the map here, we've got a few Lings trying to fight off with a Zealot, but the Zealot microed nicely there by here. It's not going to last too much longer, but it does go down, taking down 2 of those Zerglings with it. Not the best way to trade. I'm pretty sure the Zealot can take 3 Lings when it's not surrounded, but either way, doing a good job there. He's getting his Warp Gate tech. We've got a sentry popping out as well, using a lot of his gas there, and here come the Gateway Party. So I think this may be a Stalker style attack, and yeah, we've got Blink coming along, so he is going to get Blink on the way here. There was an Overlord that just came through, and it looks as if that guy has taken a lot of damage. In fact, I think just before we actually saw the DT Shrine was on the production tab there. I'm assuming that would have been around here somewhere, and but it looks as if Hero has cancelled that now that that Overlord is actually out of the base. Actually, let's just have a quick look. Yeah, that's actually, yeah, the DT, the Dark Shrine was actually going down here, I believe, but he's actually cancelled it, of course, meaning that he's going to be, well, it looks as if FlowerShoes is actually going to be looking to defend against this. He's got a Spore up at this expansion, and I would not be surprised if we see a couple of Overseers come into full force once this hatchery is done, switching into that lair. But meanwhile, he's just going to drone up quite hard. We've got a lot of drones on the way. We've got a few Lings out in the middle of the map, just trying to control this central portion of the map, along with the Zelnaga watchtowers as well. As we can see, he's just trying to make sure that Hero does not get too much information on what FlowerShoes is up to. We'll just have a quick look in just a second at what Hero can see. Meanwhile, those 2 sentries doing a good job holding up the front of the base. They can put down a couple of force fields if needed, and of course can defend along with the cannon against any of those Zergling pressures that might come along. Hero does not know this base is here, as we can see. Can't confirm it. You can probably assume at this point that a Zerg has gone for that base. Meanwhile, on the notation of those Dark Templar that might be coming along, it looks as if FlowerShoes is actually going to get some Hydras out, but here comes the trouble already. It looks as if Hero is actually going to approach from the southern path here, just coming through. Obviously, he'll have no way to be stopped by any Lings on the low ground at all. They can't bust through those rocks. It takes them about 15 years to actually bust through, but it looks as if Hero's going to try and bust in through the back door of the main. He's going to get some hits off here on these Zerglings. The drones are coming along. They're going to try and fight it out. Going to see some beautiful micro here from Hero, no doubt. There he goes, blinking away individual Stalkers and little groups of 2 as well. They're going to have to be very careful now. We've got 1 Roach in the mix. The Lings are obviously going to deny some of the movement of those Stalkers, but it looks as if he's going to keep some of them alive, keeping some on the high ground. Of course, he needs that vision so that he can blink up there again. It looks as if we've got another pack of Stalkers coming along. He's currently sitting on the 6 gates, I believe it is. Yeah, we got 6 gates. Sentries are just helping out with bringing some more Phoenix across, and it looks as if this is very, very reminiscent. Those of you who play Zerg and have played against a Terran in the old version of this map, is very reminiscent of that play where you would get some siege tanks on the low ground, you bring up a couple of Marines and just start sniping off what you can. This is going to cause a lot of trouble for FlowerShoes. He's going to need to start targeting the units if he can, but it looks as if he got Burrow for his Roaches, so he will be able to regen the health on some of those Roaches because the Stalkers have no vision just at the moment. But these Stalkers are going to run rampant through the rest of this base here. We have another group of these Stalkers who's popping up. Beautiful little blink marker there to just get them on top of the high ground here. We have a decent pack of Roaches now in the mix, trying to go for the surround. FlowerShoes is just doing his best to actually take care of these, blinking away these individual Stalkers. Hero doing a great job with that. We can see that the Stalker health is getting a bit low on a few of those, losing some of their shields and some of them losing their health as well. But the Roaches are also taking a lot of damage, given that bonus, the bonus damage from the Stalkers on those Roaches. So he's doing a great job of keeping these Stalkers alive. As we can see, a little bit of micro there from FlowerShoes to try and actually bring the Roaches into range regardless of where those Stalkers blink. But Hero doing an absolutely fantastic job. Meanwhile, he's actually expanding down to that inner third base here. He's not actually getting any of his upgrades just yet, but what he is doing is chronoing out an observer so he can see those Roaches when they burrow again. But As we can see, a lot of damage has already been done. We've lost drones, we've lost the hatchery, as we can see. No mining going on here at the main base. It looks as if we've got the lair just sort of sitting out here with no way to help out at the moment, of course. Ling's now trying to come around for us around. They are going to get a cornering on those stalkers. They're going to have to blink away for the time being. We want to be really careful with what he does here, but blinking these high health stalkers back up on top of the ridge here, they will be able to do a lot of damage to those roaches, and in fact the roach numbers are starting to dwindle. We'll take a quick look at the unit count. We've currently got 6 roaches out, 15 stalkers out on the map here, and with that observer coming along, he'll actually be able to keep some of these stalkers on the low ground without any need to keep some on the high. So it's a brilliant play to get that observer out here by Hero. He's doing a good job of keeping up at the moment, trying to make sure he's on top of his macro as well, getting out a second robotics facility along with the robotics bay, so it looks as if he is going to transition into the Colossus tech. It's a beautiful way to play it, I would say, just because of the fact that FlowerShoes is looking to get a lot of these Hydras out. The Hydras, of course, do a great amount of damage against gateway units in particular, especially when these Stalkers are starting to run low on their health. But Hero is just going to have a lot of map dominance now. He can run around and control these Zelnaga watchtowers, making sure that he's got vision in the middle of the map, and he could probably perhaps try and look at actually getting up to this third base. And if he can assault this base, at least take the hatchery down, he'll be in a fantastic position. Meanwhile, just at the natural, he's transferred some probes across. He's going to be sitting on a fantastic economy here, just getting a few cannons up to make sure that's defended. Won't need too many because the Stalkers, as we can see, are very mobile and can get around the map very, very quickly as compared to the Zerg units, which, of course, the Hydra's off the creep, incredibly slow. So we'll see what happens here. It looks as if Hero is assaulting this third base here, taking out that Spore Crawler so that the observer can stay alive for the moment here. Is going to deny this third base here. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, it looks as if FlowerShoes is actually going to push across here. Some beautiful sentry work here from Hero, just blocking out these units for another brief moment. We got a couple of cannons that have warped in. They're not going to be enough to defend against all of these units that are about to bust in through that front door at the third base here. Is going to take all of those out. It looks as if Hero has been quick enough to retreat with those probes already. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, Hero is actually just attacking it through the middle part here, taking out some of the overlords that are sitting in the middle. Both players actually very, very low on their supply there. We can actually see both of them in the red. We've got the Stalkers just coming through, busting in, taking down overlords left, right, and center. And as we can see, he's going to try and push through into the main base here. What if he can actually take out that lair? That would actually pretty much just seal the deal here. But it looks as if he is going to have to push up through to the main base and probably try and blink away through the side. We'll see what happens. Maybe going to snipe off a queen and perhaps his hatchery if he can. I don't think there's enough time, but it looks as if FlowerShoes is going to come from the side and try and cover the escape path, but the Stalkers, too clever, blinking away down into that bottom portion of the map here, where they will be safe to regen their shields and come back to fight another day. But it looks as if Hero has now decided that the third in the position he was at is not going to be good enough, and look at that. There, that double robo kicking into gear. We've got 2 Colossus out in the middle of the map. Their extended thermal lance is just about to complete, along with weapons level 2. This is not going to be good at all for FlowerShoes here. A couple of force fields to deny the Hydras from getting good position on the map there. The Colossus can probably sit up on the high ground here and just take pot shots all over the place. And as we can see, the Zerg force is just absolutely dwindling here. FlowerShoes is going to go down in a massive ball of flames to those Colossi and those Blink Stalkers. So fantastic game there from Liquid Hero, coming in through the backdoor path here, utilizing his Blink really, really nicely there. You could say it's an abusive use of his Blink, and just coming in, denying the main, switching around the map whilst taking a third and getting his robotics tech up and running, and just absolutely decimating through the mid game there. So almost that trademark Hero play where we see him being extremely mobile but just lacking a few war prisms. But hopefully we can see some more of Hero upcoming. Of course, make sure you jump on to teamliquid.net and you can catch some of the streams there, and of course we'll hopefully have some more games up soon. Cheers.